Now, Manish Bhaiya is here, so he's a word which he uses always, dhamal hone wala, right? Let's assume that India's GDP doubles by next 6 to 7 years, which is where we are headed. In that kind of a scenario where India's GDP will double, the per capita will go up, binge consumption will move higher, premiumization will go through. What kind of scenario do you forecast and you envisage for Tata Global?
So Tata Consumer, inherently, we want to be among the top players, right? If you look at today, depending on how you classify listed companies, we are between 5 and 7, right? We want to be in the top 2, top 3 companies, and therefore we have to outgrow the industry. Whichever category we are playing in, we want to outgrow the industry and make sure we are creating value at this thing. We'll be a multi-category company, but make sure that we are creating value in everything that we do.
What could happen to Indian hotels if the GDP doubles in 6 to 7 years?
Wow. I think first thing we can proudly say is that today Indian hotels revenue or EBITDA or market cap or whatever variable, number of rooms, number of destinations that we cover is possibly us equal to the others put together. So I think we don't need to wait there for 3 years. I think we are on that roll and we will keep moving in that direction. I think very importantly is how to be fit for future, and how what Mr. Chokhani said was very interesting, and I repeated that already, that I find that it resonates. But how not to make mistakes when you are not having, net debt, when you are, for our, standing, we are cash rich. So how not to make any kind of mistakes will actually make us fitter and position us very strongly to keep diversifying our top line, enhancing our brandscape, maintaining our margins, and a growth journey which we have had. We've added 200 contracts in last 5 years. The company was 115 hotels in its first 115 years, and in the last 5-6 years is added 200 of which 90 have opened and the rest is in pipeline. I think this show can go on. It will go on, and I remain optimistic that we are in for a very good run.
So if I say that for next 3 to 5 years, the trend in the hotel industry is not bullish but very bullish. Demand will be more than supply. Pricing power is with the hotel industry, and the kind of recovery what we've seen in terms of margins and other aspects for Indian hotel, it will continue.
I think the guidance that we have given, we stand by it, and that we will open 25 hotels. We'll have a double-digit growth on top line. That we will maintain our margins. All that is there. That is in public domain. That guidance. But more importantly, I think what I said will change is, although we might have learned hoteliering from the West, this might be a game-changing time in 3 years from now, when we might be the leaders of hospitality in the globe, where maybe top of the top 10 brands in the world, maybe 3 come from India. And we would be definitely one of those.
Kya baat hai. Taj is already right up there in terms of a brand survey. I just read it last week.
Yeah, for the audience, I think in the last 4 years, in all sectors in India, Taj has been rated as the strongest brand by Brand Finance, and also as the world's strongest hotel brand. We got it last week for the 3rd time in last 4 years. So I think this is a big change. We were not even among top 50 5-10 years ago. Our increase in brand value estimated by this most influential brand rating agency is 45% in a year. So I think that change is happening. It's a huge change. Of course, we were always the Taj and we always did what we could. But something changed in COVID, as I said. The prices went up in the rest of the world, the service quality went down, the people left the sector because of the way they were treated. If they are treated, the associates, or your people, the way we expect them to treat the guests, maybe this would not have happened. So they left that that field for us to play, or I wanted to call the RBI governor not as a batsman, I wanted to call him the wicket keeper. So there was no wicket keeper, whether there is an edge or not an edge, you can just keep scoring runs. If the bat doesn't hit the ball, it goes for 4 byes, right? So this is what has happened in our landscape, and I think it's a great opportunity for India's hotel brands to shine, not just Taj, but for others too.
So nice to hear that. Okay, let's talk about the way you're growing. You've just made acquisitions and you've done a string of acquisitions. Will that be your growth strategy for next 3 to 5 years, that organically you will grow, but in order to really take that leap forward, you would be acquiring assets?
Yeah, so Nikunj, you publicly said that, right? We've dissected, first of all, we'll be a total FMCG company. Right now we're focused on food and beverage. We've very, very clearly identified which are the pillars that we're going to play in, whether it is core, pantry, ready to drink, mini meals, snacking, and then a future portfolio. We said we're going to do that. And even in that, we've identified sub-segments. There are sub-segments we know we can do organically. There are sub-segments we know we cannot do organically. So it will have to be inorganic. But inorganic, again, you cannot time it, right? You cannot say that tomorrow I want to do X, Y, Z. There are opportunities on the market which you don't like, and what you like is not on the market. So you've got to be patient about it. We will grow organically and inorganically. Like, again, similar to Puneet's point, I mean, in the last 4 years, Tata Consumer, we've grown top line at about 12 and net profits about 27, right? We aim to continue this momentum, if not accelerate from here on. Combination of both organic and inorganic. And the other thing I would say is, again, going by the previous panel, you see growth on the horizon. You've got to always have a fine balance between top line growth and margins. Yeah, we are behind on margins, we know that, and we need to improve. And we will continue to improve. But when you start to weigh about, will I go after between the two, growth and margin, I need to improve margins, but how much? I would first prioritize growth and then a slight bit of margin improvement rather than fantastic margin improvement and lower growth. Because growth is here today. If I build that scale, to your point, 3 years, 6 years from now, when the whole GDP is double, if I'm sitting at a sizable scale, I know I can drive margin from there.
So in next 3 to 5 years, do you have plans, and are you consciously working towards making Tata Consumer in the top quartile in the FMCG space, whether it is in terms of market cap or profits or in terms of margins? Are you consciously trying to take the business in that direction?
Oh yeah. Obviously, when we do our 3-year rolling plans, 3 and 5 year strategic rolling plans, very clearly we are plotting out which are the categories that are not present, and over the next 3 to 5 years we will add it organically, inorganically, what the top line is going to be, and most importantly, you have to create value for shareholders. And those values ultimately is in terms of the P&Ls and the balance sheet, and then the market will reward you in whatever form or manner. I cannot dictate what the market will reward. My job is to make sure, or my team's job is to make sure that we deliver the best possible returns to the shareholders.
As a CEO, I'm going to ask this common question to both of you. What is the importance of market cap? How does it matter in a boardroom? Why are you looking at each other?
So let me put it this way. I would say, again, I'll repeat what I said. Market cap is what the market thinks about you. But that is an output factor. Input factor is what I do to deliver the P&L and the balance sheet. And then the market has to decide what the market cap. It feels good when the market cap goes up, but that's not something you can influence directly. What you can influence directly is day on day make sure you're selling the right amount, costs under control, delivering the right returns, make sure cash flow is right? After that, it's a derivative market cap.
After such a comprehensive, good answer, what shall I add? I can only say something totally different. It feels good when it goes up, but when it is going down, it feels really bad.